Welcome guys back to another video, a different video on the channel today, completely different, done nothing like it, but it's going to be my last video for about a week because I'm away on holiday. And I want to get this done. I think it's going to be quite a good video. It's going to be my Scottish Premiership predictions for the 2016-17 season. Now, the Scottish Premiership seriously overlooked, and I know a lot of people don't care about the league, but you know what, I'm here to give my predictions for the league, a little bit of insight, and how I think it's going to go down this season. It's going to be nonetheless a very interesting season in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers are back up, which means the old firm is back. Rangers and Celtic games just in general make the league a whole lot more interesting. But there's also teams like Aberdeen and Hearts which could give Rangers and Celtic both a problem. Now, Celtic have won the Scottish Premiership 5 years in a row, and the whole thing is we're going for 10 in a row. As I'm wearing my Celtic top, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit biased, but I'm going to give my honest opinions. Everything is honest, and I'm sorry if some fans get a little bit butthurt. So if you have got abuse, feel free to pop it at me in the comments. I don't care. Just if you could disagree with me, let me know your views. Try and be as nice as possible, but I know for a fact Rangers fans will be unhappy with things I might say about their team. Hamilton fans, Kilmarnock fans, any fan of any club might be angry at what I say, but please, it's all just coming from my opinion, and obviously I could be completely wrong. At the end of the season, we could be standing here with fucking Inverness as the champions. This is my predictions, okay? I'm not fucking saying that it's going to happen. It's predictions. It's called predictions for a reason. But nonetheless, it's time to get in the video. I hope you guys enjoy this. I will make this for the Premier League, the English Premier League, when I get back from my holidays. I'm going to let that league kind of get into shape first, let teams get their signings in and see how they're looking by the start of the season. Then I'll make my Premier League predictions, because one signing in the Premier League can change a whole team's season. For example, if Hull were to sign a game changer, it could change their whole season. But up here, I mean, you're not going to be able, like, teams like Ross County can't afford a big game changer, so it's not going to change much for them, which is why I'm just going to do my predictions for this now, as I feel like it's the right time. So here we go, let's get into my predictions for the Scottish Premiership 2016-17 season. Right, okay, let's start at the bottom. At 12th, I've got Hamilton. Now, the bottom 6 teams was a bit harder to predict, because, I mean, it's hard to say who's going to get relegated and who's going to stay up, because it changes all the time. Like, one season, somebody can finish 6th, and then they'll finish 11th for next season. It's hard to decide. So at 12, I've got Hamilton. Their player manager is actually Martin Cannon. He's still playing, he's injured just now. At the weekend, I've not got Martin Cannon, he's just back from an injury, so he's not going to manage against Rangers the first game of the season. And I think for Hamilton, it comes down to they need a good start. Last season they didn't end on a good note. When it came to the split, you know, it was the inconsistency for Hamilton was what really doomed them towards the end, and especially because a 4-0 defeat to Kilmarnock, who finished 11th last season, is really what defined their season for me at the end. It's like it started decent for Hamilton, it was just really inconsistent football, and I think it's going to catch up to them. Especially they just lost Ziggy Gordon, who's quite a good defender for Hamilton, who's just moved to Ross County or something, I can't remember, some other team in Scotland. A real big loss in my opinion for Hamilton. Their key player I've got down there is Ali Crawford. He is a really good young player, but I mean, it all comes down to can they hold on and can they keep consistent. If they get off to a good start, I have faith in Hamilton doing better than finishing last. But right now I've got Hamilton for straight relegation. Okay, at 11th, I have Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock finished 11th last season, and this season could go one of two ways for Kilmarnock for me. Kilmarnock have made 11 new signings. A huge amount of players brought into the club to try and improve what was quite a horrific season for them. They got off, they were let off the hook last season when they won the playoffs against Falkirk in the final after losing 1-0 in the first leg. They managed to thump them 4-0 at Rugby Park. But it can either go one of two ways for me. The 11 signings do what they were brought in to do and change everything for Kilmarnock and they have a fantastic season, or it goes horrifically wrong, they can't work together and it's another horrific season for them. And that's why I've got them sitting 11th, because I feel like, you know, 11 signings sometimes can do marvellous things, but I mean, it's a big risk because, I mean, it disrupts chemistry. It's a whole new team, it's a whole new locker room, and you know what, it could really backfire on them. But they've got some good players in there, especially Josh McGuinness, who I actually think got taken to Euros for Northern Ireland. I can't remember, but he is a good player. But Kilmarnock, yeah, I've got it sitting 11th for the second year in a row. At 10th, I've got one of the Glasgow clubs, the much smaller Glasgow club, and if you're from England, you've probably never heard of them, Partick Thistle from Maryhill. They are trying to stay up, I would say, this season. I think they will. I think they'll narrowly miss it, but Partick Thistle's season last season was quite similar. I think they finished 9th. They've got some good players. They've got Kevin Doolan, who's a good striker, especially in Football Manager, by the way. And they've got Stuart Bannigan, who I've got down as a key player, who is actually sought out by a couple of teams. Apparently, a couple of bigger Scottish clubs want him. I think he was linked with Aberdeen, and he's linked with a club in England, Barnsley. That's who it was. So, you know, I think they'll hold on to him, though. It doesn't look as though it's going to be... It's not been heavy links, so I think he'll stay there. But Partick Thistle, not much to say, as Partick Thistle's one of the teams that I really, really don't care about. I really don't watch their games, I don't look into anything about them. But I've got them 10th. Okay, 9th, I've got Ross County. Ross County, a team who actually won a trophy last season. They won the League Cup last season under Jim McIntyre. And you know what, I honestly have a bit of faith in Ross County. I think they can actually finish higher. I've just got them 9th because, well, it was hard to choose who should go above them and who should go below them, and it ended up just getting me at Ross County at 9th. They've got some good players. Liam Boyce is a great striker in my opinion. I mean, I've seen him a few times on TV. He's a good player. And Jim McIntyre, I mean, he won the fucking League Cup with Ross County, which is something you don't hear a lot, fucking Ross County win the cup. So I think Ross County might be able to do a bit better than 9th. I think I've been a bit harsh on them, to be quite honest with you. But I've got them sitting at 9th here. Let's see, I've got 7th and 8th. At 8th, I have Inverness. Now, Inverness, really, it's been a weird year or two for them now. A year ago, 2 seasons ago, they were sitting challenging Celtic at the top of the table. Celtic and Aberdeen when Rangers weren't here. They were finishing 3rd, 2nd for a couple of years in a trot. Then things started going downhill for Inverness. You know, they won a cup and everything. I think they won the Scottish Cup. They beat Aberdeen in the final. And then they lost John Hughes, which I think... I mean, he wasn't performing well, so obviously going to sack your manager at that point, but in all honesty, I think it was a bad decision to get rid of John Hughes, and that's why I've got Inverness sitting 8th. For a while now, they've not had John Hughes, and they finished in the bottom half last season. And I think it's going to be a repeat of that for Inverness. I don't see them getting into the top half. Richie Foran, you know, he's quite new to the management game. I think this is his first... He's still... I don't know if he's a player manager, but I know he was playing a couple of years ago. They have still got some good players though, but they've lost a very key player to their team. Why as well, I think they're going to finish 8th. They've lost Ryan Christie, who actually Celtic bought quite a while ago. I think it was January, but they loaned him back out to Inverness. But now we've got him. Celtic have got Ryan Christie now, so that'll be a big blow, because in Scotland, when a team loses one of their key players, it can change their season. Like for Dundee United a couple of years ago. Last season or the year before, I can't remember. They were challenging for the league title. Celtic bought Stuart Armstrong and Gary Mackay-Steven, relegated. It shows how everything can change when you lose 1 or 2 key players. But they still do have some good players. Greg Tansey is the key player I've got down here. I think he's quite a good player. When it comes to the key players, some of the actual people who support these teams might disagree with me, but this is from my view. And obviously, you've got to look at it from the point that I'm looking at it from. Like, teams like Partick Thistle aren't put on the TV a lot, so it's hard to actually pick out a key player when you don't see their players consistently. That's why it's a bit easier when it comes to like Celtic, Rangers and Aberdeen. But Inverness, I've got sitting 8th. I really don't see them getting the top half, unlike Ross County, I think can push for top half. But Inverness I've got sitting 8th. Sitting 7th, I have Dundee. Now this could be subject to change. Dundee finally are the best team in Dundee, which I don't know if that's ever happened before. Dundee United have always been the team that have been the best in Dundee. They've won cups, won the league in the 80s. They've been challenging in the top 3 all the time. And they got relegated. So Dundee, this is their time to shine. Paul Hartley, a good manager, quite a young manager. He's not been managing for a hell of a long time. Considering he only retired in like 2012. But he's done a good job with Dundee. Last season done pretty well. I think they finished 6th. But when I said subject to change, this is why. As you can see at the bottom, I've got the key player down here somewhere. I've got a key player. It's Kane Hemmings. Apparently, and I've not actually looked up, so it might not be true, but it looks so it is true. Kane Hemmings has left. I would look it up, but I'm using my fucking phone to record this because I'm poor. I don't have a camera. Anyway, apparently Kane Hemmings has left, and he is a pretty good player. And I had him down as key player for Dundee for a reason. And you know, I need to bring someone in for up front now. But I still think Dundee will finish 7th. I don't see them going any further down than 9th. I think they'll stay up though, definitely. Maybe challenge for the top half, but without Kane Hemmings could be difficult. But Dundee, I think, have a bright season ahead of them. Last season had a good season. This season, I think they can do the same. At 6th, I have St Johnstone. In all honesty, I think St Johnstone are quite a good team. I think they might be able to finish above, actually, who I've got at 5th. But I think they're quite a good team. They've got some good players. And a good manager. Tommy Wright has been at St Johnstone for quite a while now, so he's had a lot of time to build a team. And during that time, I'm sure he's won a cup. A couple of seasons ago when they were held at Celtic Park for the cup because the Commonwealth Games were on. But Tommy Wright's a good manager, I think. I think they've got a good team, and you know what, they could probably challenge for the cup this season, and maybe even a higher place than what I've got them here. Stephen McLean's who I've got as a key player. I like Stephen McLean. I think he's quite a good player. I think St Johnstone bet Falkirk the other day by quite a hefty margin. Well, not the other day, it was a couple of weeks ago now. In the League Cup group stage, they were looking strong. So I think it could do better than 6, actually, now I think about it. But I've got them at 6 anyway. St Johnstone, I think they're in for a good season. I hope they do well, because I do like St Johnstone. I think they play good football. But I've got them sitting 6, so they're kicking off the top half for me. Now, this is who I think St Johnstone might actually be able to finish above. Motherwell, I've got at 5th. Now, Motherwell, towards the end of Stuart McCall's tenure as manager of Motherwell were, like, close to relegation. And I think Mark McGee came in, and last season they finished off quite strongly. Well, they didn't finish off in the last game because Celtic fucking rattled them 7-0 because I was at the game. They didn't finish off in the last game, but when it comes to trophy day at Celtic Park, every team gets a fucking batter and we always win by a big margin. But Motherwell done quite well, and they managed to finish in the top half, I'm sure. They did because we played them in the split. But they finished in the top half, and I was surprised. And I think they're going to do it again because they looked strong. For getting in the top half after a year before, finishing like 10th, I was quite surprised, and I think they'll be able to do the same. I think St Johnstone, looking at it, will be able to finish above them, but I still think definitely Motherwell will make the top half, and they will make the top half of the split. Mark McGee, I think, is a good manager. You know, he's had time. I'm sure he was assistant manager for Scotland for quite a while, so he's had time, and he's quite a well-known manager in Scottish football. Scott McDonald, quite a good player. He played for Celtic, he played for Motherwell before Celtic as well, and he's back at Motherwell as there last season. He scored a few goals, and I think he's going to have to carry the team and score some goals for them to get them to where I think they'll finish. So that's why I've got them as a key player. But Motherwell, I think it's a season that it's quite unpredictable, but I've got faith in them. I think they'll finish quite high, and I've got them at 5th, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do finish in the bottom half. But I've got Motherwell at 5th. Now, this is where things start to heat up. This is where it gets... These are the 4 title contenders, in my opinion, right? It's always heated for the start, and then Celtic kind of pull away and win the league by quite a margin. But it's always heated at the start, and I think Hearts... I'm quite harsh on them. I do think they can finish above Rangers, in all honesty. I've got Hearts at 4th. I think they've got a great team, and a good manager as well. Good young manager, Robbie Nielsen. He's only like 38 years old. So he's got a long career ahead of him, and he's doing well at Hearts, and they want to continue doing well so he can build his managerial career, because Alex Neil, he done well at Hamilton, and now look, he managed in the Premier League last season with Norwich, and Robbie Nielsen's only a matter of time before he takes a move down to the Championship. I mean, if Alex Neil could have done it with Hamilton, I don't see why Robbie Nielsen can't do it later. So I think he'll want to do well at Hearts this season, especially if he has got a chance of going to England. You know, this could be, any year could be his last at Hearts. And I've got some great players. I've got Callum Patterson, who I think is a phenomenal fullback. I think he's really good. I'd like to see him move to one of the big teams, Celtic or Rangers, because I think he'd do well preferably Celtic. I think Callum Patterson is a really good player. And I've got some other good players. I've got Alan Ostock, who's a great centre-half, a rock at the back. Sam Nicholson, a great winger. Juanma, is that his name, the striker, he's quite good. And you know what, Hearts can be dangerous, and they gave Celtic some challenges this season, last season, and I think it'll be the same again. When it comes to these teams, I can talk a little bit more in depth because I know a bit more about them. As you see, I've kind of flew through the teams all below Hearts at this point because there's not much to say about them, because I mean, I don't get to see a lot from these teams, but when it comes to Hearts, I get to see a lot, and I've been saying a lot about Rangers, Celtic, but Hearts, you know what, I think can if they push, they can finish above Rangers, and I can already hear the fucking Rangers fans taking their peoples. But Hearts, I think, are in for a good season. I think they can push for the European football. I think they can push for the cup. And, you know, without Hibernian, you know, they don't really have a big rival in the league. So a bit of the pressure's off now, because when it comes to Hibernian, you know, it's big games, it's easy to drop points. But without Hibs in the league, you know, that's a few points that they can maybe pull back, because when it comes to games like Easter Road, they kind of crumble under pressure and they can lose easily to Hibernian sort of rivals. And with Hibernian not here, maybe they can pick up the points elsewhere, teams just promoted, like Rangers. I hope they can beat Rangers. But I've got Hearts at 4th. I think they've got a good season ahead of them. And they are Huns. But I hope they do well. There we go. I can hear the Rangers fans typing away. I'm sorry. Please don't abuse me. I genuinely just feel like Rangers cannot finish above Aberdeen. I'm not going to mollycoddle my way about it. And I know I've got key player Joey Barton. I don't know why I've done that. The day I made this, I just signed and I was like, you know what, he done quite well last season. And you know what, Joey Barton could be a key player. But when you look at players like Waghorn and Tavernier, I would say Tavernier's a key player. I just put Barton down because he signed it. And Barton did have a good season. We'll get on to Barton in a moment though. Rangers 3rd, right? I know the Rangers fans are pissed off at me already for saying they're going to finish 3rd. But honestly, I feel like Aberdeen are the genuine title contenders for Celtic this season. Now, next season, I'm not saying Rangers are never going to fucking win the league again. Rangers could easily stop us winning 10 in a row in the next 5 years. Without a doubt, they can probably get a team together that is good enough to try and stop us. But this season, I think Rangers are not going to finish above Aberdeen. And if they do, hats off, I'll admit I was wrong. But I just feel like getting thrown into the mix straight away, I think Rangers fans are thinking it's going to be too easy. I mean, they've been gone for 4 years now. They spent a year in Division 2, they spent a year in Division 1, and they spent 2 years in the Championship. Now, if it took them 2 years to get out the fucking Championship, then how many years is it going to take them to fucking finish above Aberdeen and Celtic? That is the point I'm aiming at here. If they cannot get promoted their first time in the Championship, when Hearts beat them to it 2 seasons ago, then how the hell do they expect to come and challenge for the fucking title straight away? That's what I don't get. I know they've got a much better team than what they did at this point 2 years ago, right? I understand that. A completely better team than the season they finished 2nd in the Championship. But Aberdeen's team is better. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe Aberdeen have a better team. And I know Rangers went further in the Scottish Cup last season, but I still don't believe Rangers have what it takes to finish above Aberdeen. I'm sorry, it's just my honest opinion. I believe Mark Warburton is a fan. that's just a Celtic fan's point of view. Mark Warburton is a good manager, right? I'm not going to lie. And there is a good few players for Rangers. Joey Barton, I believe, is a decent signing. He had a good season in the Championship last year. He won Championship Player of the Season, which proves, I mean, he was the best player in the league. And moving to Rangers, you know, it's a big boost. It brings some experience, but at the same time, he's a crackpot. And when it comes to the heated games against Celtic, it's the kind of game Joey Barton's got to get a fucking red card. And so is Scott Brown, in all honesty. I mean, I'm not just taking a dig on Joey Barton. I think he's going to miss more of the season than he fucking plays if he keeps up his temper that he's been known for in the past. But they've signed some other experienced players, Nico Crankjar, who can be good, but personally I don't think he's going to make a huge difference. I think Rangers have signed too many experienced players, too many old players, and I know you can never have too much experience, that's saying the rest of it, and I do see the point in that, but I mean, at the end of the day, these are players that are a 1 year thing, and then they'll bring them in, and this is not the year they're going to go for the title, and I know for a fact Rangers will not win the fucking title. Oh, if Rangers win the fucking league, then I'll look like a tit. But I just don't see why they're not bringing in some more younger, thriving players who are going to push to get that title and who want the title. Like our young players, Kieran Tierney, he's fucking every game he looks as though he wants a fucking trophy. Patrick Roberts, and I just the likes of Nico Crankjar and Joey Barton, they do not go anywhere near the ranks of Patrick Roberts and Kieran Tierney, in my opinion. So I've got Rangers at 3rd, and I know there's a bunch of fucking comments from Rangers fans, probably slating me. But I'm a fucking Celtic fan, what am I going to do? Celtic are going to win the league. which kind of spoils who I've got second. It wasn't hard to predict anyway. At second, I've got Aberdeen. Aberdeen have been Celtic's challenger for the past few seasons. When Rangers went bye-bye for liquidation, the taxman came running for them. Aberdeen really took the opportunity, and they went from, they were shite, I believe, they were shite when Rangers were in the league, and they went from that to being the second best team in Scotland. And they've been very impressive for the past few seasons. And they've been building a good team, and they bring in player after player. Johnny Hayes, who I've got as a key player, he is a brilliant player. I'm sure he got took to the Euros. Or did he? I don't know. No, he didn't. I don't think he did. No, he didn't. Graham Shinney, who I think's a good player. Adam Rooney. Who's that other cunt? Shea Logan. They've got a solid defence. They've got some good attackers. And they're always a threat to Celtic. We struggle when we go up to Aberdeen, and we also struggle when they come down to Celtic Park. I mean, majority of the time at Celtic Park we do get the points, but they always put up a massive fight, and they're always a really good team, a really good team to watch on the pitch. And Derek McInnes has done really well with Aberdeen, and I think he'll continue to do really well with Aberdeen this season and continue to get them into European football. They're currently in the qualifiers for the Europa League, and they're through to the next round. I hope they do make it to the Europa League group stage to raise the reputation of Scottish football and get more coefficients for Scottish football, so more teams can get into Europe and Celtic don't need to go through the bar-stopping qualifiers. But Aberdeen, I think, are in for a good season. I honestly think Rangers fans are underestimating them, because Rangers fans are saying they're going to do better than Celtic, some of them, and some think, no, we're going to do better than Aberdeen. But I really do think they underestimate Aberdeen, like Celtic fans have underestimated Aberdeen plenty of times. We always go, oh, we're going to beat Aberdeen, and Aberdeen always surprise us and do well. I think they're going to finish second again. They'll do well. There's always a point in the season where they slip up, and that's when Celtic pull off and win the league by miles. But I think this season will be very, very close. I think we're not going to go and win it by 15, 20 points, 10 points. I think it'll be closer. I do think we'll win it, but we need to count on Aberdeen to slip up in those games so we can go and win the league. But Aberdeen, I think, will be there to the very end this time. I don't think they're going to slip away in March or February. I think they'll be there to the last game of the season. Which leads me on to top of the table, Celtic! I can't take myself seriously, fuck this. Right, I mean, I can't wear a Celtic scarf at Real Madrid, fucking top. But I've got top of the league Celtic, and, you know, as much depth as I could go into here, I don't really need to. I mean, we're going to win the league, surely. If we don't, then if we don't, then I think Brendan Rodgers will be on his way out already, but surely we'll win the league. We've got a fantastic manager. Well, I hope to be. Can't say much yet, he's only been in charge for a month. But so far he's done well. It's been entertaining football to watch. The away legs to the European qualifying matches haven't been great, but I mean, it's showing progression, and there's real progression from what Ronnie Deila left, and I was a big fan of Deila, so I mean, to see Deila go was a shame, but I think we've brought in an outstanding replacement in Brendan Rodgers. I mean, he nearly won the fucking Premier League with Liverpool for the first time in 23 years, and he done fantastic with Swansea. He's a great manager. He's got Premier League experience. No other fucking manager in the league has managed in the Premier League before. And we've got some great players, and there's still many signings to come. We've got Eric Sviatchenko, a fantastic centre-half. Kolo Touré, a new signing, right? Might not be amazing. He showed brilliance last night against Astana at Parkhead. He played really, really well. But he's got Premier League experience, a two-time Premier League winner. Kieran Tierney, an outstanding young left back. If you're from England, you don't know who Kieran Tierney is, look him up. He'll be playing in your league pretty soon if you're a Premier League fan. We've got Scott Brown, who may not be as great as he once was, but he's our captain. He's a good leader, and he's captain of Scotland as well. Patrick Roberts, phenomenal. He's going to be a star in the future, and I'm actually going to cry when we lose him at the end of the season, but that's life. And the 40 goal a season striker, Lee Griffiths. Well, not a season, but last season, 40 goals. So we've got a strong team, I believe, with the new signings that are going to end up coming in. Like the heavily linked with Scott Sinclair, apparently that's nearly done. We're getting another centre back, apparently. It'll be Shane Duffy, Paddy McNair, someone like that. I think we're going to have a strong team. I believe we'll do better in Europe this season. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, the European nights. Hopefully we actually qualify for the Champions League. We've got one more round to go. And there's some good teams we might have to face, like the likes of Copenhagen or who's the other team again? I can't remember. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave off. I think Celtic will finish top. I'm not going to go into huge depth because I mean it's quite self-explanatory why Celtic are going to finish top. And if they don't, come back to this video and abuse me even more, Rangers fans, right, at the end of the season. But I'm confident we will. I'll react to this at the end of the season, see how many I got right and how many I got wrong. But for now, that's been it for me, Ryan118. Rangers fans, dislike my video. Every other fan, dislike my video. Celtic fans, like my video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.